Tesla is a story about people, ideas, and steady change. It is a story about how a small group of people tried to make cars and energy tools that are cleaner and smarter. From the first small steps to a wide reach across the world, Tesla grew by trying new things and by facing hard tests. The company began in the early years of the 21st century. A few engineers and friends saw a chance to build a car that used only electric power. They wanted a car that could show the world that electric vehicles could be fast, fun, and useful. They started with plans, sketches, and small teams. They worked in quiet rooms and in small shops. They made many tests and fixed many errors. This early work set the tone for the company. The name they chose honored a great inventor who worked with electricity. The choice of name made one clear idea show through. The company wanted to link new work to a long past of smart people and bold plans. The first car the team made was not a common car. It was a sport car with a shape that caught the eye. The small car used a battery pack and electric motors to give it strong power. It had a long range for its time and it could reach high speed. For many people who saw it, the car proved that electric cars could be more than slow city runabouts. It showed the public a new side of electric travel and it gave the company a face people could see and talk about. Soon after the start, a new and well-known investor joined the project. He put money into the business and he took part in its plans. This investor had big ideas and he helped the small team grow fast. Over time he took a larger role in the company and he became its chief leader. His name became a large part of the brand and the public story. With his help the company could reach more money and more attention. The early years were not easy. Building cars is hard work and building new kinds of cars is even harder. The team had to learn many skills, from battery design to car framework. They needed to find parts, test them, and make them work together. They faced delays, tight money, and deep doubt from others. They worked many long nights and they cut costs where they could. Many people said the plan would fail. But the team kept working and kept making small wins that built trust. After the first model, the company moved to a new and bolder car. This next car aimed to give value and comfort to a wider group of buyers. It offered a smooth ride, a roomy cabin, and a long driving range. The car used strong battery cells, clever cooling, and a clear design. Its arrival made more people think of electric cars as a real choice for family use. The new car won awards for its design and for its quiet and strong drive. It also showed that the company could design and sell a car at higher volume than a studio sports car. As more cars reached drivers, the business grew in size and in reach. The company had to build new shops, hire skilled workers, and make complex supply chains. It built service centers so owners could get help and it built a network of fast chargers so drivers could travel longer distances. The chargers became an important part of the plan because they let people move without worry about range. This work with chargers, service, and sales changed the idea of what an auto company could do. The company added more models to reach more needs. One model had room for many people and doors that opened in a new way. Another model aimed to be more simple, more affordable, and built for broad use. A smaller utility vehicle joined the line to give families a flexible choice. Each new model brought design choices and tests for the factories. They had to tune production lines and train workers to build cars faster and with care. To make so many cars, the company built large factories in different places. Some of these factories were joint projects with other groups and some were new and large sites made for mass work. Within these places the company tried new steps to cut cost and to make battery packs faster. The idea was to bring many parts together in one place to save time and money. Large battery plants were set near car plants to make it easier to move heavy packs and to speed up the flow of work. Batteries were at the heart of the story. The company worked with many partners to get cells and to assemble them into packs. They sought to make cells more dense, cheaper, and safer. Small changes in battery design could give more driving range or lower cost. They tested many chemical mixes, shapes, and ways to cool the packs. For drivers, this work meant longer trips and less worry. For the company, better batteries meant lower cost per mile and a new edge in the market. The cars also gained more software and smart features. A driving helper feature was added that could control steering and speed in some road conditions. This feature used cameras, radar, and later only cameras to watch the road and to make choices. The software improved with every update and it could be sent to cars from the cloud. The maker called the system by a name that suggested guided driving. Over time, the system could help in parking, hold a lane, and change lanes on some highways. People praised these features for ease and comfort. At the same time, the system brought debate about safety and about how the public should use such features. Beyond cars, the company moved into the energy field. It bought a company that made solar panels and solar roof tiles. It also made large batteries that could store energy for homes and for business. These batteries helped to hold energy from the sun and to give power in times of need. The maker saw a long view where cars, homes, and the electric grid could work in a linked way. This part of the plan aimed to let people use clean power and to reduce the need for fuel that burns. The firm sold cars in many countries. To do this, it opened showrooms, service centers, and new factories in other lands. It learned local rules and it adjusted cars for different needs and tests. In some places, the cars became a symbol of new thinking about transport and energy. In other places, the company faced strong local rivals and heavy rules that made work slow. Inside the firm, there was a strong focus on design and on speed. People were urged to try fast changes and to accept wide risk if the win could be big. This culture gave the firm a chance to move quickly and to beat slow rivals. On the other hand, it created stress for workers and it led to big changes in staff and leaders over time. The public image of the brand was tied to bold claims and to clear goals. The maker spoke of a future with zero emissions and with smart cars that could drive themselves. Fans loved this vision and they became a strong group that bought cars early. Critics said some claims were too strong or moved too fast. This mix of praise and critique kept the firm in the public eye and in the news. At many points, the company faced what some called production hell. New models had delays and the team had to change tools and lines to fix faults. The firm used new ways to stamp and to build parts. When new lines failed, the company often worked day and night to bring them up to speed. These fights cost time and money and they tested the patience of investors and staff. Money was always a part of the story. At times, the company had ample cash and could invest in new plants. At other times, it had tight cash and had to ask for more capital. Investors watched the firm for signs of profit and for steady growth in sales. The firm often used new funding and stock sales to get money for big factories and for research. As sales rose, the firm built plants in multiple continents to cut shipping costs and to move faster. Local factories helped to meet demand for cars in key markets and to avoid trade or tax limits. City-level service points and fast charger points grew with the plant map. Other car makers saw the change and started their own electric models. Some had long histories and large factories. They began to change gears toward electric power and to invest in battery work. The old and large firms learned from the small upstart and they began to match some of the new ideas. At the same time, many new firms and startups tried to build electric cars, adding more choice for the buyer. New rules and laws moved with the change in the market. A mix of governments offered help like tax breaks and support for charging points. Other places set strict tests for safety and for emissions. Meeting these rules was a constant work for the design and legal teams. As cars reached many hands, the firm had to improve its quality checks and its after-sale service. The first years saw mixed reviews from some buyers who found small faults or gaps in care. In time, the company set new processes and fixed many problems. Service centers and mobile service teams helped owners get repairs and updates more quickly. The market value of the firm changed a lot over time. At times, the price of the stock moved up fast and made headlines. This brought more investor interest and more capital for moves. But such change also carried risk, and it brought more public attention to the firm choices. Many buyers felt a close bond with the brand. They felt they were part of a plan for a cleaner world. They shared news, they spoke in forums, and they helped to make the brand known by word of mouth. This group of loyal buyers helped to keep sales steady and to seed new markets with strong word of mouth. Innovation was found in small and in large steps. It came in new battery parts, in strong motors, and in car design. It came in software updates that added new features after the car was sold. It came in the use of large screens in the cabin and in some simple parts that let the car be updated by code. This mix of hardware and software made the cars feel new for many years. The supply chain moves many parts from many lands. The firm learned to work with many suppliers and to hold stock of key parts. It used new ways to design parts that could be made by many factories and to simplify some steps to save cost. A core idea from the start was to lower the use of fuels that burn and make smoke. The firm spoke of a world with lower pollution and with less need for oil. The cars and the energy tools were shown as a path to a cleaner planet. Many fans liked this focus as a simple and strong goal. Around the firm, a new community rose. This community shared tips on repair, on travel, and on how to use software features. Owners often met at events and they planned long trips using the network of chargers. This owner community became an unpaid group that helped to raise the brand in many places. The style of leadership was bold and public. The chief leader often spoke directly to the public in social channels. This direct voice built fast attention, but it also caused shock when words were strong or when numbers were wrong. Leaders in the firm took big bets and the culture asked teams to match that pace. Over the years, the firm faced legal and public issues. Some tests and some accidents led to public review of safety features. Certain workplace reports created debates about safety and about the hours people worked. The firm faced fines in some places and it had to change some practices. These events led to new rules inside and to more focus on safety and control. Each problem brought a chance to learn. The firm often changed its methods and it tried new ways to test parts and to train staff. It showed that big companies can adapt fast when they want to. For young firms, this can be a lesson about the value of fast change and the risk that comes with speed. The company also tried projects that went beyond cars. These included large battery packs for cities and storage that could help keep a grid stable. It worked with utilities and with local governments to test new ways to store power and to move power to where it was needed. What the future holds is wide and open. The firm plans to keep working on better batteries and on cheaper ways to build cars. It hopes to add more models for more people and to bring prices down so more buyers can choose electric. It will likely keep testing driving software, and the dream of fuller self-driving remains a big goal. At the same time, it will need to meet new rules and to beat new rivals who also invest in electric power. The story of the company gives many lessons. One lesson is that a strong idea can find power when a few people work hard and keep trying. Another lesson is that fast change can win markets, but it can also bring big risk. The teamwork between engineers, designers, and field workers made many wins possible. Public trust was built by work and by clear steps that proved the cars were safe and useful. In simple words, the history of the firm is a long path of risk, craft, and a desire to make a cleaner future. It began as a small plan and it grew into a wide effort that changed how many people think about cars and power. There were bright days and hard days, wins and lost chances, but the simple idea of new electric travel kept the story moving forward. This story is still being written as new cars roll from factories, as new batteries store more energy, and as new software seeks to make driving easier and safer. For people who listen to this long ride, the clear point is that change takes time, it asks for many small steps, and it needs steady work by many hands. They kept learning and they kept trying to make things better. They tested parts again and again until the results were steady. They trained staff to work with new machines and new tools. They set simple rules for safety and for how to check quality each day. They kept careful notes from each test and they shared them across teams. They built new shops and they taught new workers how to use the tools. They learned how to get better parts and they found new suppliers that could meet needs. They also learned how to move heavy parts in safe ways. Each change took time and often cost more than first planned. Yet the team pushed forward and kept the aim clear. Small groups of engineers worked on motors and on how to make them run smoothly for many miles. Other teams worked on how to cool the batteries to avoid heat and damage. The design groups tried many shapes and sizes to bring both beauty and use. They made the inside of the cars quiet and simple so drivers could find the controls with ease. The software teams wrote code that could talk to sensors, cameras, and maps. They tested the code in many places and they updated it often to fix small faults. The factory teams planned how to place machines so the work could move from step to step with less delay. They tested belts, robots, and tools to help with heavy lifting. The logistics teams planned how to bring parts to the factory and how to send finished cars to customers. The sales groups learned how to show the cars and how to answer questions from new buyers. They created simple guides and online pages to help people choose the right model for their life. Over many years, the company tried many small changes and many large moves to reach where it wanted to go. It built new machines and it taught people how to use them. Each test gave a new lesson and each failure showed a problem to fix. Teams worked on design, on battery care, on how to paint cars, and on how to make software that runs well. Partners and suppliers in many lands helped to bring parts and tools. The work was long and the progress was steady. People inside the firm often spoke of speed, but they also learned to plan for quality. They put in place checks at each step to find faults early and to stop a bad part from moving on. They listened to early buyers and they learned where to make the user experience easier. They opened phone lines and chat help so owners could ask for help quickly. The charging network grew with the cars. The firm placed chargers at roads, at shopping sites, and at workplaces to let drivers plan long trips without worry. Engineers looked at where drivers stopped most and they placed chargers in places that made sense for travel. This network helped to lower range worry and to grow trust in the cars. The maker also worked on a simple payment and map system so drivers could see charger location and their car could route for the best stops. The firm also worked to lower the cost of batteries. Engineers looked for ways to use less expensive materials and to build cells in higher numbers. They talked with many material makers to secure supply lines and to set quality standards. The push for lower cost was not only for profit, it was to bring the car price down so more people could afford electric driving. The maker then worked on price tiers. The more expensive models showed what was possible and the lower-priced models aimed to reach broad buyers. This plan followed a simple path: show the idea with a high-end product, then bring the core parts to larger scale to lower price. The firm learned to balance features, cost, and ease of use. At times the firm also changed its plans and had to stop some projects that did not meet goals. Some ideas, even if clever, were costly or slow to build and were set aside. The team kept what worked and it moved on from what did not. The public saw many promises and the firm sometimes missed its own targets. Yet the long push showed that steady work and many small advances can change a whole market. The maker changed parts of the car to meet new law tests and new safety rules. Crash tests, fire tests, and climate tests guided design changes. The firm added new sensors and new safety rules for software to reduce risk. It worked with outside test groups to show that the cars could meet local standards. The firm also opened training programs for local technicians so service teams could fix cars in each market. This local skill building helped to lower wait times and to keep owners happy. In some cases, the firm used mobile service teams that could travel to a customer and do a repair at home. This mobile idea saved time and helped when a service center was far away. The firm learned to use data from cars to spot trends and fix issues in many cars at once. By studying data, the engineers could spot a weak part or a software bug and they could send an update to many cars over the air. Over-the-air updates made it possible to add features without a shop visit. The firm used this power to improve driving feel, to add new music features, or to improve range by changing how power is used. This blend of hardware and software made the cars feel new even after years of use. The firm also showed that a small group with a strong idea can push a large market to change. The story shows that new ideas need many small steps and many people who will stay with the work through long hours and many tests. For those who listen for practice, the history of this firm is not only about cars. It is about a group of people who wanted a cleaner way to move and who kept working through many hard days to make that goal real.